Hey there guys, EctoMaster here. We are back with another Hero Spotlight. This is a special edition as The Butcher came out last week and I wanted to take a look and see what he was all about, look at his stuff and take a look at his abilities, his talents, and then take a look at a talent build, which I've got one up and it's the highest rated one on Heroes Nexus, so we'll look at that. I'm thinking of doing this differently next week. Now, I mentioned this in the Tyrande video as well, that with the next character that has been selected, I think I may try and do some practice footage of the build, so we'll look at the skins and whatnot, we'll look at the abilities, and then the talent build we'll look at in like a practice mode. We'll see. I haven't really rightfully decided yet, so we'll take a look into it. Who knows? Anyways, let's go ahead and take a look at the skins for the Butcher, because we want to look at those first, because the abilities and the talents take a little bit of time. So here is his base skin, and he has two other alternates to that. He has his Master skin, which again you have to be level 10 and have 10,000 gold in order to get. So there are the two bases. And then there is the Iron Butcher, which I also have, which kind of looks like Diablo. It's interesting. So there's a bundle going on currently where you can get the Iron Butcher, his Mount the Butcher, and not his Mount the Butcher, but the Butcher's Battle Beast, and the Butcher, all for, I think it's just over $20 US, so definitely worth looking into. But let's take a look at his abilities and his talents, and then we'll look at that build while we're looking at the talent as well. So his abilities. His Q, W, and E. The Q is Hamstring. It's a 50-second mana cost with 4-second cooldown. Deal 40 damage and slow enemies by 50%, fading over 2 seconds. Your next basic attack will strike immediately. Then you have Butcher's Brand. It's a 60 mana cost with a 14-second cooldown. Deal X damage to an enemy and cause your basic attacks against them to heal you for 75% of the damage done for 5 seconds. Healing doubled versus heroes. And then there's Ruthless Onslaught. That's the E ability. It's a 75 mana cooldown, 75 mana cost, 20-second cooldown. You charge at an enemy, becoming unstoppable and gaining movement speed. If you reach the target, they are stunned for 1 second and take 60 damage. Now his trait is Fresh Meat. Gather strength by killing enemies and collecting their meat. Then he has two heroics just like the others. Lamb to the Slaughter is a 75 mana cost, a 60-second cooldown. Throw a hitching post that attaches to the nearest enemy hero after a 1 second delay. This deals 75 damage and causes the enemy to be chained to the post for 4 seconds. And then Furnace Blast. It's a 75 mana cost with a 90-second cooldown. After a 3-second delay, fire explodes around you, dealing 300 damage to enemies. It can be cast while using Ruthless Onslaught. Ooh. So there is his abilities. Let's go ahead and take a look at his talents. Now, as we're doing this, I'm looking at a build called Auto Attack Demon. This is by Kurzi. It's for the Butcher. This is the highest rated on Heroes Nexus. It has an 18, it's plus 18 votes, so it's definitely been voted one of the best. Anyways, so he has these usual block. I know a lot of people see it quite often, so we're going to ignore that. There's Invigoration. If Hamstring hits a hero, half of the mana cost is refunded, and the cooldown is reduced by 1 second. Chopped Meat increases the damage of Hamstring by 50% to non-heroic targets, and minions killed by Hamstring drops 3 stacks of meat. And then Victuals. Heal for 3% of your maximum health when you collect fresh meat. Meat continues to drop at maximum stacks. So that is the one that they recommend to take, is Victuals at level 1. Level 4 we have Envenom, which is another one we see quite often, so we're just going to look at these 3. Flail Axe increases the length of Hamstring by 40%. Unrelenting Pursuit reduces the cooldown of Ruthless Onslaught by 40% upon impact. And then Cheap Shot. Hamstring does 100% more damage to targets affected by a slow, root, or stun. And for this, they recommend to get Flail Axe, so increasing the length of Hamstring. At level 7, all of these are unique to Butcher. So Brutal Strike, after using Hamstring, your next basic attack deals an additional 50% damage. Insatiable Blade increases Butcher's brand healing from 75% to 100% of your basic attack damage. Abattoir increases the maximum number of fresh meat to 35, and you only lose half upon death. And then Final Assault increases Ruthless Onslaught's range by 33% and causes you to lunge at the enemy when close to impact. And that is not the one that they recommend. Abattoir is the one, so it increases your meat gain. At level 10, they recommend to get Furnace Blast over Lamb to the Slaughter. At level 13, we only see one, actually I think two, Burning Rage and Spell Shield. Those are two that we see with quite a few others, especially in the melee assassin range. So we're going to go ahead and take a look at Savage Charge and Crave Flesh. So Savage Charge, Ruthless Onslaught deals bonus damage to heroes equal to 15% of their current health. And then Crave Flesh. While an enemy is affected by Butcher's brand, you gain 30% movement speed. And that is the one that they recommend to go with this build. At level 16, you have Crippling Slam. Hamstring Slow no longer fades out, and the duration is increased by 25%. Enraged. Receiving damage that reduces you below 50% of your maximum health causes you to become enraged for 10 seconds. You gain 40% attack speed and reduces the duration of slow, stun, silences, and roots against you by 75% while enraged. I don't know if I've seen that with other ones. It is a passive, so you don't need to activate it. And then Blood Frenzy. Fresh meat also increases your attack speed by 1% per stack. And that is the one they recommend to go with on this build. Last but not least, the one that they recommend is Nexus Blades at level 20. Basic attacks deal 20% more damage and slow the target for 1 second. Bolt of the Storm is a teleport. Of course, you've seen with those others. So Nexus Blades are the one they recommend for the build. But let's take a look at the other two heroics in case you decided to deviate at any point and take these. So if you decided to stick with, Furnace Blast, let's go to Fires of Hell. Furnace Blast explodes a second time 3 seconds after the initial explosion. If you decided to not do Furnace Blast at all and wanted to check out Lamb to the Slaughter, you have Slaughterhouse, and Slam to the Slaughter now chains all enemy heroes in range to the post. So that could be deadly as a nice little trap. So there you have it, guys. That is a look at the Butcher for this week. I was happy to kind of see what he was about, or this build. I'm wanting to play him. I haven't really had a chance to yet, but he is a melee assassin. He's the newest hero, and I hope you guys enjoyed. We'll be back next week with the next hero spotlight. Until then, I am EctoMaster, and I will see you guys in the next round. Right.